What's up, agents, and welcome back to another Division video. A lot of people say that I don't test things in Legendary enough. Well, today is your day. I'm going to test this build in Legendary, and it's an absolute banger. I did a build like this a little while ago, but then talking to Ollie in my Discord, we put a new twist on it, and it shouldn't work, right? There's a whole bunch of reasons why the talents and stuff and skills that I'm putting together here, they don't actually synergize in any way whatsoever. But I've just tested it out, and it made District Union Arena feel like I was doing it on normal. Like, it was crazy strong. So we're here, we're making a video. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and maybe join the channel, and let's get straight into it. So we're on Legendary, and yeah, let's just go straight in and give this a go, and hopefully it goes as well this time around as what it just did. So we're just going to take cover here, and I'm going to use a turret and a drone, and we're going to ping it out. We're going to start attacking things. Probably off the rip, we're definitely going to get rid of the mini tanks because they're a pain. And really, you're just going to kind of see everything kind of die. Whoa. I do love the new flashbang effect. So good. You know, and so far, as you can see, it's not really been any kind of hassle at all. It's just crazy good. The enemies aren't even that bothered with me. They're more bothered about my skills. Yeah, I'm putting out crazy good gun damage at the same time. The enemies won't stay in cover at all because my skills are annoying them. Chunk of time. And this is great. I popped his backpack already. We have lost my drone for the moment. Really doesn't matter that much though. So boys. If you can tag anything else that's kind of hiding when you're flowing into the chunga like that, it really just makes for easy peasy. And a big thing here is that they all kind of hide, and we don't really care because the drone will do its thing. And yeah, I mean, again, that was so easy. I literally just sat back, really. You know, I did put some work in with the gun, but because you've got to, but it was so easy. This is actually crazy. So I'm going to go back to the base of operations. We're going to go through the build. But I mean, for farming Legendary, especially if you just want to do it solo, I mean, this is definitely going to be the build for you. If you want kind of that no pressure vibe, right? So there's probably different ways you can build this, but I purposely built it a little bit different to last time. So first of all, I went with gunner, right? I wanted armor on kill. It's the only thing in the build that's going to give me any kind of survivability. I also wanted the extra rate of fire to build up my gun damage a little bit. Generating ammo. I am in legendary. I've got to be putting out damage. I don't want to be running out of ammo. So that was, you know, another part of why I did that as well. And gunner was just the perfect example of what I needed here. Now, obviously you could go with technician and that's going to give you a skill tier, and that might seem like an obvious choice, but I wanted to push on the gun damage and I wanted the armor on kill as well. Okay, so that's literally why I went with gunner. When we look at the build itself, there you go, you can see what was going on. Now future perfection got a buff, right? Weapon kills grant 1 skill tier for 19 seconds, but we can stack it up to 4 times now, meaning you only have to have 2 yellows in your build to push overcharge, which makes the skills insanely powerful, as you saw. It does have a cooldown on it, but you can keep stacking up the skill tiers, and then you get the overcharge again as soon as possible, and it just kind of happens, right? So you want one of these with damage target out of cover. Like I said, the gunner specialization helps with the RPM a little bit, but the damage on this thing is actually pretty good. It's actually pretty decent. As you saw, it felt really good. This was just my get out of jail free card. You know, if anything did start rushing me, hit it with a Scorpio, use the skills to kill it, and you know, it would be fine. If you know, I could probably kill an elite anyway. You know, I'm pretty much all red near enough, like, you know, so it was all fine. So the chest piece, I went with 2-piece Brazos because I wanted the skill haste and I also wanted the skill tier. Remember, we've got to be at 2 skill tiers. Armor, crit chance, crit damage, and crit damage basically with obliterate, because again, like I said, I really wanted to be able to push that damage with my gun to, you know, line up with using the negotiators. And then we took the Brazos holster with a skill tier. That's our 2 skill tiers right there. And yep, with crit chance and weapon damage, and that's all we needed. Now obviously you could run a memento if you wanted to here instead, but I really wanted to take advantage of the full negotiators damage buff, and that's why I went with the backpack. I think that's kind of important. But there's a couple of things to mention here before I go through the negotiators gear in why this doesn't line up and why actually there is no synergy with this whatsoever. So yes, the future perfect's great, yes the skill tiers are great, and yes, that's going to make it so that it feels like for a little while my skills are really, really strong. But any damage from the skills does not proc with negotiators. So if I shoot a target with negotiators and then my skill, you know, shoots it afterwards, you do not get a transfer of damage. Only my damage from my gun transfers. And if you look here in the negotiators, critical hits mark enemies for 20 seconds, up to 3 marks in total. When you critically hit a marked enemy, all of the marked enemies will take 60% of that damage dealt. The skills don't critical hit, so that damage is never transferred. Whenever you mark whenever a marked enemy dies, we'll gain 2% critical hit damage, stacking up to 20 times. Now that bit does work. So if I've got a mark on an enemy and he dies, I do get that critical hit damage, but the damage doesn't transfer. So that's what you've got to think about when it comes to this build. It just doesn't, the synergy of it just doesn't really line up. It doesn't really make any sense, but the skills are so powerful and they cause so much distraction. We can put in big damage with negotiators across multiple enemies that just don't want to stay in cover, and it just works really, really well. So if we looked at the mask, we get 15% crit chance, 20% critical hit damage, weapon damage, and crit chance in the mod slot, because just as normal here, we're building this as a full red build. We're going to get to 60% critical hit chance and then plow in as much critical hit damage as we possibly can. If we're looking at the gloves, we're on weapon damage, critical hit damage. Then we're looking at the knees, weapon damage, critical hit damage. And then with the backpack, weapon damage, crit damage in the mod slot. But then this is what I was talking about. So we're going to increase the hostile negotiations damage to additional marked enemies from 60% to 100%. And I feel like that is a huge damage buff that really took away the fact that from running, you know, maybe the memento, you know, I could run the memento in here, but then I would have to collect the tokens. I mean, legendary, I wanted to sit back and just big chill, right? I didn't want to have to push. I didn't have to worry about collecting things or anything like that. So it just kind of made more sense to me to put the big damage on with the backpack and run gunner up top. And as you can see, it just worked really, really well. Like, it was insanely good. If you wanted to look at the stats, 58% crit chance, 149% critical hit damage, and 75% headshot damage, and 21% health damage, which actually for legendary pays off really well because we've got mini tanks, we've got dogs, you know, you've got all the things that are health damage. So having, you know, using this assault rifle, it just pays off just that little bit more as well. It just works really, really well. You know, if you looked in the stats here and we looked at the skills, I mean, there isn't really much point because we're not going to get the, you know, it's showing as a tier 2, but actually we know that that actually turns out to be a tier 6 and then an overcharged one as well because of the talent on the gun. But yeah, as you saw, it works really, really well. Yeah, an absolute banger of build. Really, really impressed with this. So yeah, that's going to be it for the video. I hope you have enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and maybe consider joining the channel. If you're not part of my Discord to see conversations like this, you should be. You'll find the link down below in the description. It's just full of agents that love the Division. So if you love the Division, you want any help or you want people to play with, join the rooms, and yeah, have a lot of fun. Thanks for watching, agents. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.